Hey guys, Christian here. Before we begin today's episode, just wanted to give you guys a heads up. We had a few audio issues on our end. Devin's mic tends to crack from time to time, not as often as you think, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up if you're, don't want to ruin your beautiful eardrums out there, but it will be fixed for our Green Knight review, which will be dropping next week. Very, very excited for that. Very excited. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up. So the show must go on.
That's all it is, man. A leap of faith.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me you're relentless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and all things Hollywood. I am your host, Christian, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Devin, the man himself. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan's latest thriller, Old. So we're going to be talking about some old people today. But before we begin today's discussion, today's show, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. And if you're a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. So Devin, you recently had a birthday. So how's it feel?
It was a couple weeks ago.
How'd you
shopping for insurance?
Oh,
it's not fun.
Hey, look at him. He's going. Like Masaroshi? Is he your favorite? What is your favorite, like, not geezer character, but like, what is your favorite, like, grandma, like, character? If you had to pick one, not from old.
I mean, Yoda, I guess.
I guess, but he's lived so long. It's like he's
definitely a geezer.
He's seen and done it all, like literally. He has seen and done it all. I guess for
Speaking of old, you're gonna give yours.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Well, I'll get into that later. Anyway, go ahead, Devin.
Speaking of old, did you see the new Cleveland baseball team name?
I did. The Cleveland Guardians. We're here.
See, I actually like the name, but I did not like the new logos.
I like the name too. At first, I was getting my hair cut today, and I was like, it's pretty basic. But the more I thought about it, it's like, I mean, what else are they going to use?
Yeah, it fits with what they already had.
Yeah, it really does. So congratulations to the Cleveland Indians. Or I'm sorry, the Guardians, the Cleveland Guardians. At first, we had to change over from Jacob Field to Progressive Field, and we had to get rid of Chief Wahoo a while ago, so it was just the Red Sea. And, they kind of did it in chunks. You tackle one thing at a time. So
they did it faster than the Washington football team.
Okay, so I was actually, when I went to go get my haircut today, we were talking about what the Washington football team name is supposed to be, because I think it's supposed to be the season that they're supposed to do everything. So I wanted to ask you, because I have a good one. Well, what would you name the Washington football team?
I mean, it seems like they might just keep it Washington football team.
That's
seems like
so,
people like it.
That's so bland.
Like Washington FC, I've seen. Football club.
The Washington Parliament. That's not mine, by the way. I was just thinking of some off the top of my head. But mine, personal favorite, would be the Washington Hamiltons.
Yes.
Owned by Disney. Mega corporation.
The Washington Lin-Manuels.
The Lin-Manuels. The Alexander Hamiltons. Yes, the Washington Hamiltons. You can have the star logo with Lin-Manuel, pointing at the top. And then, towards the beginning of every single game, they can play, not throwing away my shot, not throwing it away. It's all there. But congratulations to the Cleveland Guardians. It is weird because it's like we all knew they were going to change it, and I was just kind of shifting through Instagram, and I was like, I was hoping
for the spiders. There could have been some cool stuff with Cleveland Spiders.
They definitely could. And the opening ceremonies for the Olympics in Tokyo. Tokyo were today. You see that?
Yes, it's the Olympics. I don't.
Do you watch the Olympics at all?
No.
I watched some parts. So there was, and of course, before we get into the review, there was a song list of like all these video game like scores they were playing. They played like oh my gosh, what was it? Something from Kingdom Hearts and also something from I believe Legend of Zelda as well. Let me see if I can find the list here really, really quick, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it was.
I saw there was a new speed walking Olympic event.
Is there really?
It looked hilarious.
You know what? Okay, so yeah, so they had like a Dragon Quest theme, Final Fantasy Victory Fanfare, Monster Hunter, Kingdom Hearts, Chrono Trigger was in there a few times, Ace Combat, Soul Calibur, like Sonic the Hedgehog, like it's all there. Like there's others, but those are just a few that I kind of named. But yeah, man, it's been crazy. Time is going so fast, Devin, and you know we're getting older and older by the year, and it's something to start thinking about. Start taking, don't take life for granted out there. But
yeah.
But yeah. So are you ready? I was gonna bring up something else, and I can't remember what it is now, but I'm sure it'll come to me later on. But anyway, before we get into, that's what I wanted to ask you. No, it left my mind again. Oh my gosh, man. Oh, that was it. Okay. So there was a tweet that I found where, they're talking about subtitles for movies and TV shows. Do you use subtitles?
Not usually.
Okay.
I use them in games. Mostly. You
see, I do the same thing. I think we've had this discussion before, but someone had brought it back up earlier. They're like, well, yeah, like they said that they actually a lot of people I reached out to. I was like, do you guys put subtitles on for like, when you're watching at home? Everyone's like, yeah, like Leo does it, Amanda does it. I know Jacob does it as well. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm the odd one out because I haven't done it in like.
It's weirdly distracting.
Yeah, especially when it's in your own language. But at the same time, I can kind of understand because, like, when I went to go see Tenet, it was more it was just really, really weird.
That's the exception
because the sound mixing was like super, super bad, and I'm like, am I just getting older, or is the sound mixing just that bad and that muffled? And I was like, well, maybe one of the two, but I think I'm going to blame it on the sound mixing. I'm not going to blame it on getting older. But yeah, so let's dive into our old review right after this.
What's happening to us?
My daughter just turned 6 2 weeks ago.
Mom?
Whatever's happening to us is happening very fast.
You have wrinkles. There's something wrong with this beach.
What's happening?
Mom! 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 I'm scared!
All right. And we are back. Devin, let's start this review off with a little bit of information about the film with a synopsis. And the synopsis is as follows: a thriller about a family on a tropical holiday who discover that the secluded beach where they are relaxing for a few hours is somehow causing them to rapidly age, reducing their entire lives into a single day. Directed by M. Night Shyamalan, written by M. Night Shyamalan, and stars, you guessed it, M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes, his biggest role to date.
Yes, Vicky, Krieps, and Thomasin McKenzie coming back for kind of a mid-roll in this one. But it seems on a Facebook discussion between our other friends, we are on opposite sides of this movie.
I don't know if it's polar opposites, but
yeah.
It seems like you're really low.
It's pretty low for me. But I will say this now. It was not a film that I like hated, because I feel like using hate is a very, very strong word. So I was like, okay, let's just see. And like they were the acting, and we'll get into that here in a bit, but I actually wanted to get your thoughts first. But no, I didn't hate it, but I feel like, yeah, there are, so it seems that you enjoyed it more than I did, but how much more?
Yeah, I definitely was entertained throughout. I wouldn't say it was great, maybe not even good, but I don't think it was bad. It kind of reminded me of like a Twilight Zone episode, just how it was all set up and the mystery behind all of it.
Yeah.
Also, the M. Night movie that it reminds me the most of is The Visit. Did you ever see that one?
I still have not. When it comes to M. Night Shyamalan, I'm very picky of what I watch from him ever since the Avatar: The Last Airbender fiasco. I enjoyed Split. We both went to go see Glass a few years ago, and that was his last movie before this one. But I hear his Apple TV Plus series, I think it's called The Servant. I hear that's actually really good. So it's like you never know what you're going to get with him.
Yeah,
but
he's very divisive as a director, but I liked The Visit, and it reminds me of this. It's kind of like on the sillier, like funny side. Like there's a lot of jokes in it, and you don't have to take it as seriously.
I guess because he said it's labeled as a thriller, and even through all of the trailers that, leading up to it, I got Candyman, I got The Last Duel. That was my first trailer. I was like, oh, this looks amazing. So excited for
Ben
that.
Affleck is so weird.
Huh? I know.
Ben Affleck is so weird.
I know, right? I was like, hold on. Is that? I was like, yeah, that's Ben Affleck. I'm like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. But yeah, like I got trailers like The Last Duel, Candyman, that new
Malignant.
Yeah, I got that one as well as a few others.
It's funny you bring up trailers, because I think the biggest issue for the movie for me was just how much the trailer gave away. Because might be the biggest example of a trailer giving too much away I've seen in a while.
For Old, yeah, it feels like we got all the big moments in the trailer, because I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that one. But like the way that the trailer was cut was so interesting for Old. And I was like, okay, this looks interesting enough to go see.
Yeah, the premise itself like sold the movie for me from the trailer, but they didn't have to show everything that they showed. All they had to show was the aging part, because that's the interesting part.
That was the interesting part for sure. Because like we said, the premise is there, the outline is there. I just don't think it was like, in ways it was executed well. But in other ways, I think the editing was really, really rough for me. Like, I don't know what was going on with that. And then a little bit of the Michael Bay shaky camera was there from time to time.
He definitely took some risk with some of the camera shots and camera angles that he got.
Yeah.
Some of it paid off, but some of it was just a little too long.
Yeah, like big risks. But again, and there were performances that I enjoyed, but others I kind of just like chuckled to myself, because like we said in the in the group chat with everyone else, you said it was like, that the acting wasn't, it's like the acting was so bad that it was entertaining. I believe that's what you said
for a few of the characters.
Yeah, and I'm definitely with you there, but I felt like I was in a time loop, honestly, while watching this film. And we'll get into spoilers here in a bit, but yeah, like it was a movie for sure. And like you said, the trailers, it's the one thing that draws you in, because it has all of like the shocking awe moments and what have you. And I kind of was waiting for those to pop up, but like they didn't have the same effect as I was watching the movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I thought
didn't have to. We'll talk about it in spoilers, but there were a few key ones that they really shouldn't have shown.
Yeah, like big key ones. And I feel like with this film, if he, like you said, if he would have shown less, then it would have had a bigger effect. But I gotta say,
I will say there were some good humorous elements. Like the theater we were in had some good laughter going.
Oh, mine did not laugh at all. But you probably saw it with a bigger crowd. I saw it midday today. So
Yeah, it's probably just a few people.
yeah, I think there was maybe like 10, 12 of us total, if that, kind of spread out throughout the theater. I mean, it was nice to see it like in theaters. I definitely probably would have turned it off if it was at home. Like, but it wasn't to the point. It wasn't like Hellboy, like the new Hellboy bad, where I just walked out. But it can be interested in only for the reason as to who is behind everything. So
Yeah, that's what he's known for. The twist at the end.
was it
That's what draws you in.
It was a okay twist, but before we get any more ahead of ourselves, let's get into our spoiler section. So that is your first spoiler warning. Again, we're getting into our spoiler section for M. Night Shyamalan's old movie. I'm such a geezer, Devin. Excuse me. But Devin, so the twist at the end, it was like a scientific, like a survey or like a study group.
It's basically a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, a pharmaceutical company is testing out those who have specific like illnesses and conditions. And I guess it was more of, hey, let's, whatever caused the aging to happen within what you can get like an entire lifetime within, I think they said like
24 hours.
24 hours. Yeah, within 24 hours. So it was kind of like, I guess, testing on those who have these conditions and seeing how it affects them throughout an entire lifetime. But like,
I mean, it is an interesting moral dilemma. I mean, from the pharmaceuticals perspective, they're saving possibly millions of lives by testing on a few people in order to get their new medications into the world. But obviously their way of doing it is horrible and killing innocent people.
Right. And that's where kind of like, I guess you can call it morally gray. It's, it's tampering with people's lives and, picking out the few and kind of like even like targeting them even before they come to the resort. Because I think the main family, the mother who had the tumor in her side, who cheated on her husband, I was like, I thought it was something totally different that happened. And then I'm like, oh, so the mom is just that much of a, but yeah, it was the main family obviously was more, I think the mom said that she saw it from like a coupon when she went to the grocery stores, like some kind of sweepstakes that that she found and kind of entered them into having. And, we get to the resort and it's so, it's paradise. It's honestly like one of the, it's too good to be true type things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's also weird that they even include the kids at all. Like, what's the reason? They don't have to.
So they can escape, Devin.
It's not like they give them medication.
Yeah, that is
give all the
true.
adults some medication, but they could have spared the kids. But I guess that's kind of pointing to them being on the more evil side.
Is that why they said no kid? Well, because, okay.
I think the dad was joking.
Yeah, but like in the trailer, it made it seem like, like no kids on the beach. And that makes more sense as to, hey, this pharmaceutical company only needs those who have these illnesses or these conditions, not the kids. So why would you bring the kid? Like, why would they let them bring the kids to begin with? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah. I guess, I don't know. I mean, like maybe that's just me overthinking it, but yeah, I can definitely see like it in a way, like it makes perfect sense from like a scientific standpoint. It's like, they have all this research that they can get out of one person, throughout their entire life. And then, everything else that happens with like, just with the Parkinson's, I believe they kind of found somewhat of a cure for that, with one of the residents and
epilepsy.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. It was epilepsy. My bad. But her husband,
He was like, I was a swimmer in high school. I can make it.
he was so bland, but it was so funny. Like, I was like, you know what? He gave a better performance than LeBron James in Space Jam: A New Legacy. So
the doctor, or not the doctor, the husband of the epileptic woman and the main two parents, I thought were very hilariously not great actors.
Yeah, the main two parents, especially the father. I think his name was Guy, and I liked him though as a character, but like it was just, I mean, you're more worried about the kids because they go through their own transformations. You know, you have the main family; they have a little boy and their older daughter. I actually forgot the names, but they actually said them quite a lot too.
Maddox and Trent.
Okay, Maddox. Okay, yeah, that's right, Maddox and Trent. So Maddox was played by, the mid Maddox. I guess I think she was like 14. Supposed to be playing a 14-year-old because I think Thomasin McKenzie is like 20, 21, something like that. But she was playing like a 14-year-old. So I mean, I thought she was, good in the parts that she was in. Like it was kind of like you said, more of like mixed talent all over together. But hey, I mean, can't knock the hustle. You gotta take what you can get sometimes. But like it is such a 50-50 shot with M. Night Shyamalan because it's like, hey, it's like, here's your contract. You can either it's a coin flip. It's like, hey, like either this movie is gonna turn out to be really great, like Signs or Splits or Unbreakable, or it's going to completely just train wreck like Old or Glass or or Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I think this was definitely better than Glass.
Absolutely. I do agree with that. Glass started off very interesting and then it just tanked in the third act. But I did enjoy, this is one of his quote unquote better films. And I would never want to drag it through the mud, but like, I just like, I mean, think
you did tell people not to watch it.
I told our friend group not to watch it because they will get so mad if we tell them, hey, you should watch this movie and then them not end up liking it. You think Ethan would not like that movie whatsoever. But
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean,
I think they just don't like going to the movies in general.
You know what? That's a very good point. But yeah, like, I mean, to our friends, our like close friends, I would say do not watch it. But to listeners out there who are interested in M. Night Shyamalan and who are film fans, all of the sorts, definitely check it out. If you're interested, definitely check it out. But
yeah, to get to the big issue of the trailer, like, the pregnancy really should not have been shown because that would have been shocking. That
would have been pretty shocking.
The way he framed it and to pan down and see her pregnant, like the fact that they got it on in the tent is wild.
As they were aging, I was like, they're spending like
that's wild,
way too much time together. And yeah, like it was like the little side conversation. He's like, I thought it would take like 10 times. He's like, it only takes one, son.
Yeah,
it only takes one. But yeah,
but they should not have shown that. They shouldn't have shown her falling off the cliff, and then they shouldn't have shown the guy dying with the rusted knife.
Oh yeah, the British guy, because it was his mom, probably like his third, fifth wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
she was in Lovecraft Country. I recognize
she was.
her.
Yes, she was. Yeah. I recognized her as well. I recognize the British guy from somewhere as well, but I can't put a peg on his name. But yeah.
I think, I don't know where he's from. Let's see.
Yeah, but yeah, Devin's the Devin's a quiz master over here. So let's in spirit of the quiz master.
He was in The Father.
Oh, nice. Was he really?
He
was in The Father. He wasn't. That's right. He played the husband to Olivia Colman. That's right. That's where I remember him from. That's where that's what I thought. Yeah. But overall, like it I was like a little bit mad at the end because I thought it was going to end in like 5 different spots, and then it just kept going. And I was like, it wasn't that I was bored. I was just expecting it to end because he does have these arbitrary, endings. But I guess, you have to bring the man down. And thank God that police officer was at the resort, or else, nothing would have happened. But I really liked the connection between Trent and his friend that he met.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that was one of the funny parts. I just think there were like a lot of kind of low-key funny parts. I loved Mid-Size Sedan being the rapper's name.
Yeah, it's right.
That was amazing.
How did you think of his? He was like, it wasn't that he was stiff, but it was like they told him
He just seemed out of it.
Yeah, like completely out of it. Like he was in it for like a little bit, but like you thought that obviously, they tried to peg it to where him and this girl that he was hanging out with, he thought that they thought that he killed her. And then, you see that even when they find her dead body, and then later on where she's just nothing but skeleton. And I really liked how
that brought out the dark side of the doctor.
Yeah. I did like the professions in a way, because the Asian guy who was a nurse, oh my god! I can't
believe he was like, I used to swim in high school. I can make it.
He's like,
dead in 5 minutes.
He's like, it's okay. I'm a nurse. I'm like, cool, bro. Like, that's awesome. But his character was so like, his heart was in the right place, and it was just weird how they had this like study group. I didn't think it was more like a pharmaceutical thing. I thought it was some kind of like not ancient like power, just some kind of weird mythos out there. But I guess
it still kind of is. It's just like the pharmaceutical company abusing it.
Yeah, that's right. Because towards the end of the movie, we did see that they had like one of the rock, a slab of the rock, like inside of a case, and it was giving off some kind of energy. So I guess they were using it to their advantage there. But yeah, there's anything else you wanted to kind of touch on? My laptop's battery's dying, so we got to wrap up here.
I think the biggest laugh in the theater was the cave scene with the doctor's wife, where she was just breaking down and freaking out because her bones were dying and regrowing.
She was so frail.
I got like roaring laughter.
Did it really?
It reminded me of the sex scene in Midsummer, where the theater just breaks out in laughter.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what they were going for, I don't think, but
no.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah. I still can't believe those kids got it on in the tent. Like,
yeah,
it was weird because it was like they were hitting puberty pretty much at the same time.
If they didn't show that in the trailer, I feel like my jaw would have dropped when I saw that.
Yeah. And like, because it was weird because some of the editing was just kind of strange, but I can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to like hide, like, oh, like you can hear the voices of the kids as they're older, but you don't see them until later on. But I think the trailer did a better job than the movie. I don't know, man.
They had to show that part in the trailer, and that kind of takes away from the reveal in the movie, but they definitely should have hid the other stuff.
For sure. Yeah, it was.
I do like the overall message of just like, just don't take life for granted and don't hold grudges. Like,
that is,
we have such little time.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I did like the message. I was just like, it's interesting, but like, it's one of the worst movies I've seen this year, but it's not the worst.
I can't go that far. I just don't think it was bad.
I don't know what it is. I was just like, maybe it was just a story. Cause like, like I said, I thought it was going to end like 5 different times and it just didn't, but I wasn't mad that I was sitting there. I was just like, this is just a really odd movie. But
I didn't think it was ending multiple times, but it didn't like extend by like multiple minutes. It was just like within a quick period.
Yeah. Yeah. Because towards the end, when, the 2 main kids of the main family, Trent and, oh my gosh, blanking on Thomasin McKenzie's character's name, but Maddox. Maddox. I never heard of that name before. But yeah, like towards the end, like you think that they die. It's like, well, we haven't seen the body yet, so they'll probably end up. But I was trying to guess how it's going to end.
Mastermind M. Night. It's so hilarious that he made himself like the main bad guy, or like one of them. I'd be like if Quentin Tarantino made himself the main villain of his movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He always puts himself in his movies, but he gave himself a lot of screen time this time around. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't think M. Night like did a bad. Like he was just.
He actually isn't a bad actor.
No, not at all, not at all. But yeah, like I thought he did a fine job. But anywho's there was a red flashing light on my MacBook, so we're gonna wrap up here. Devin, what would you give M. Night Shyamalan's latest film, Old? What would you rate it out of our grading system?
I was gonna go with around a 65, so right in the D range, similar to Space Jam, actually.
Okay,
where I was entertained, but I could definitely see the flaws.
I was gonna go. Well, I gave it a 1 star on Letterboxd.
Yeah, you have to convert that to 20%.
20. Okay, I didn't think it was that
exactly.
bad. I was gonna go around like the 50, like just a solid 50. Like I said, it was not the worst movie I've seen. Yes, I told our friends not to see it because every time like we tell them to go see something, they just end up not liking it. And it's like
they hated Midsummer. That was the biggest one.
I know. Like, I mean, obviously they'll go see anything like, Marvel related or superhero related. But it's like they end up not really liking it either. So it's like it doesn't even matter what we recommend or what we say, because they're just going to hate it. So that's why I said don't go see it. Because Ethan's going to be like, what is this? But anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, so I'm seeing it at 50. So I guess converting that to Letterboxd.
2.5.
Ooh, that's too high for me. For it's weird because it's like Letterboxd scores. You can't really like. It would be nice to have like a clear, consistent like overall like when it comes to rating, but it's so hard sometimes because
I like doing stars.
Because star like I don't think stars can necessarily equate to like the ABC like grading system. I think it's more of just like a numbered kind of sorta.
I'm actually looking at the Metacritic right now, and this is a bit much, but The Guardian gave it 100.
No, they did.
The perfect film.
Oh my gosh. What did IMDb give it? They gave it 6.2 out of 10.
IGN gave it a 70.
I do not listen to anything IGN does when it comes to this stuff.
The Guardian just thinks it's peak cinema.
I don't listen to anything that IGN does movie-wise because they literally said that the finale of Loki was like lackluster. I'm like, okay, you guys need to stick to video games for the love of God. But so the tomato meter for Old right now for critics is sitting at a 55%. Audience is sitting at a 57%. So congratulations. This is the one movie where critics and fans can kind of like, coexist and agree on something. So yeah, I would fall within that 50 range. Yeah. 1 hour and 48 minutes runtime. So if you want to go see it, if you enjoy M. Night Shyamalan, definitely go see it. We're not here to drag a film through the mud. We're just here to give our thoughts and to, tell you the business. So that pretty much concludes our review of Old. As I said before we got on that little bit more of a tangent, but really quick before we close out here, what's coming up on the pod, we have our Suicide Squad review that will be dropping hopefully the day or two after we see the film, and we have our Marvel's What If series that is coming up, as well as, oh my gosh, next week, Devin, you know what next week is?
Time to get green.
Time to get to the Green Knight. I'm very, very excited. Heard nothing but praise. I've heard some very good initial reactions of that film. So I'm very, very excited for that. So Green Knight's coming up next week. I believe the week after that is when Marvel's What If series begins. We might have to change that schedule a little bit because I'm getting my wisdom teeth taken out. So, but
you're getting old.
Yeah, I know, right? I should have gotten these taken out a while ago, but
I also want to mention the makeup was like really impressive.
yeah, it was. Yes, it was. I will say that. I will say that. And then there was that one nice moment between the two main parents where, you know, they kind of, I guess, found peace in a way. But yeah,
don't hold on to grudges.
Yeah, that is very,
You
very
forget
true.
them when you're old.
You're like, what are we talking about here, Sonny? I don't know.
How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man?
The future is now, old man. But yeah, so those are some things coming up on the podcast. And go check out our Space Jam: A New Legacy review that we did with Patrick Beatty. That was our previous episode that we did. And that pretty much concludes the episode. So we'll see you guys later. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys next time.